What if the secret to surviving your darkest days isn't waiting for happiness, but choosing it even when it feels impossible? Force yourself to be happy even when life is hard challenges everything you believe about emotions and resilience. In just a few moments, I'll teach you how to force yourself to be happy even when life feels unbearable. 1. Choose happiness even when it hurts. You are born into a world that makes no promises of ease, no assurances of comfort. From your first breath, life is marked not by guarantees, but by the quiet certainty that storms will come. You grow up watching people stumble through sorrow, bracing yourself for the inevitable winds that shake even the steadiest foundations. Yet there is one truth that often goes unspoken, one lesson rarely taught. Happiness is not given. It is not handed to you like a gift, wrapped in ribbons, waiting to be opened. It is built, forged like steel in the fire of your daily choices. Each morning presents you with a decision. Before your feet touch the ground, there are two invisible paths stretching out before you. One is worn and easy, its stones smoothed by the many who have walked it in bitterness and complaint. It asks nothing of you except to surrender to the weight of your burdens. The other is steeper, carved with difficulty, but it is the only road that leads upward. It demands more. It requires you to create joy when none is offered. It tells you to smile with salt still on your cheeks, to keep walking even when your knees buckle. And though it costs more, it gives back something greater, the ability to shape your inner world even when the outer one crumbles. Why do so many choose sorrow? Not because they are weak, but because they believe the myth that happiness must first be felt before it can be real. But feelings lie. They shift with the winds of circumstance and memory, clouding your vision and convincing you that joy is something passive, something you wait for. The truth is sharper and more liberating. Happiness is a decision. It is an act of will, a command, spoken not to the world, but to yourself. When you stop waiting for it to arrive and start creating it from within, everything changes. This transformation begins in the smallest of acts. You rise and whisper gratitude into the silence, even if your heart isn't convinced. You step forward with intention, though your body feels heavy with yesterday's disappointments. You smile at strangers when all you want is to disappear. In time, these actions reshape the soul. Like water carving rock, they slowly wear away despair. The man who laughs by choice, even when it feels forced, may one day find that the laughter is real. Picture your happiness as a fragile flame flickering in a snowstorm. No one is coming with extra firewood. There is no rescue, no magic spark waiting in the distance. You have what you have, and it must be enough. So you kneel, cold and trembling, and breathe on the embers. You search the barren ground for twigs. You keep feeding that fire with every shred of will you have left. And when it begins to burn steadily, it is not because the world grew kinder, but because you refused to let the cold define you. What if you simply decided to be happy? Not blindly, not naively, but with full knowledge of your pain. What if you woke up and chose to see beauty instead of lack, to speak hope instead of fear? The world reflects back what you insist on seeing. Let others lower their eyes and wait for life to earn their joy. You will lift your head and create joy in the ruins. You will light a candle not to banish all darkness, but to declare, I am still here. I still believe. That is what happiness truly is. Not comfort, not ease, but rebellion. A rebellion against despair, a refusal to let life steal your light. So rise, plant your feet, take a breath that says, I will not be undone. Joy is not a gift you wait for. It is a weapon you wield, and you will use it. 2. Refuse to be broken. You stumble, you fall, and life, in its cruelest moments, seems determined to shatter you. But still you breathe, you exist. Maybe you're not running, maybe you're crawling, but you're moving, you're here, and that simple truth holds within it a power greater than you often realize. You have not given up. Wounded, yes. Scarred, absolutely, but unbroken. And that, more than anything, defines your strength. Because the world did its worst, and you remained. What separates those who rise from those who fall and stayed down? It isn't fate. It isn't chance. It's the will to decide. When a man is brought to his knees 10 times but rises 11, he hasn't merely survived, he's triumphed. Pain will always find you. It arrives uninvited with no courtesy or warning, but you have the choice to meet it not as a victim, but as a challenger. You may not avoid its arrival, but you can absolutely dictate its influence. Resilience isn't born in peace. It's forged in chaos. You do not grow stronger when life is easy. You grow when life is hard. When you are bent by burden, twisted by circumstance, and still you rise. The strength you admire in others was not inherited. It was earned. each trial a hammer, each setback a blow, each heartbreak a crucible, and through it all your spirit is refined. When life sends its storm, don't flinch. Square your shoulders. Meet it eye to eye. Say, "This will shape me." You are the tree, battered by wind, lashed by storm, and buried in snow. But the storm has a secret. It is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every gust of wind drives your roots deeper. Every blizzard thickens your bark. If the world had been gentle, you would be frail. If life had only offered ease, you would still be shallow. But you are not. You are strong because you have endured. Close your eyes. Remember your lowest moment. That time when everything collapsed. When you were sure you couldn't make it through. But you did. You're here. Not because the world was kind, but because you were fierce. You didn't escape the pain. You stood through it. That choice, to rise despite it all, that's your legacy. That moment is yours. No one gave it to you. No one can take it from you. Think of what you've endured. Reflect on the nights you didn't sleep, the tears you didn't show, the wounds you carried silently. And yet, you kept going. That's not weakness. That's the mark of someone forged in fire. Someone who refused to stay broken. Resilience isn't about silence or suppression. It isn't suffering in stillness. It is movement. It is defiance. It is rebuilding in the shadow of destruction. Don't hide your pain. Wear it. Let it be a banner that tells the world, "I am still here," and people will watch. They'll wonder how you continue. They'll call it fate or fortune, but deep down, you'll know. It was none of those things. It was choice, your choice, to rise, to fight, to become more than what tried to break you. You chose to be stronger than the storm. You chose to become greater than what sought to destroy you. And because of that, you walk not as a victim of your story, but as its author. 3, build a definite purpose. You are not here to drift, you are here to drive. Life is not a current you float along, it is an ocean to be crossed, a horizon to be reached, a destination you must choose with intention. Without direction, you become like a rudderless ship, at the mercy of tides and tempests, pushed wherever the world decides. But with purpose, your life gains power. Your actions take shape. Your momentum becomes unstoppable. You move with clarity, endure with reason, and rise with unshakable force. So many lose themselves not to failure, but to indecision. They wander not because they're incapable, but because they never asked themselves what they truly wanted. And if you don't choose your path, the world will choose it for you. One day melts into the next. Weeks blur into years, and suddenly you're far from the life you imagined, wondering how you got there. Drift long enough and you forget you ever had a destination. You must decide. You must fix your eyes on a purpose so vivid, so fierce, that it commands your attention and repels all distraction. It should burn in your thoughts like fire. Write it, speak it, live it. Let it thread itself through every action you take. Purpose is your compass, your fuel, your shield. When the days grow heavy, it lifts you. When others doubt, it steadies you. When you falter, it calls you back. Every task, no matter how small or tedious, becomes sacred when it moves you closer to your goal. Even if you are shoveling coal or painting fences, do it with intention. That effort is not wasted. That sweat is not meaningless. Each action, each motion, each choice builds towards something greater. Like a mason laying stone, you may see only dust and rubble, but in your mind the cathedral rises. Others may scoff. They won't see the blueprint in your mind. They won't understand why you wake early, why you sacrifice comfort, why you grind through pain. But you do. You see what they can't. You know what you are building, and that knowledge makes the labor a privilege. Ask yourself truly, what do I wake up for? What vision pulls me forward like gravity? If the answer isn't clear, you must find it now. You cannot afford to spend another day wandering without a star to follow. Decide what you will build, what you will contribute, what legacy you will carve into the world, because if you don't, the days will still pass. But they will pass hollow, disconnected, and wasted. But remember, purpose is not a wish whispered into the dark. It is not a dream you wait to come true. Purpose is forged. It is shaped by action, hardened by sacrifice, made real through relentless consistency. No one delivers it to you. You create it. You chisel it out of the raw stone of your life. Every swing of the hammer, a choice to live with meaning. While others hesitate, you must step. While others sleep, you must labor. And while others surrender to doubt, you will persist. Not because it is easy, but because your aim is locked, your will is engaged, and your path is chosen. Purpose doesn't make life simple, but it makes it worthwhile. It shields you from distractions, makes your suffering bearable, and gives you the strength to push through storms. With purpose, you don't just survive. You create. You influence. You conquer. You are not a leaf scattered by the wind. You are the wind itself. So move, not in circles, not in reaction, but forward, always forward. 4. Guard your mind like a fortress. You are not a victim of every thought that enters your head. You are its gatekeeper. You are the sentinel at the threshold of your mind, and every idea, every emotion, every memory that seeks entry must pass through you. You decide what stays, what feeds your soul, and what festers in the dark. Your mind can be your fiercest ally or your most cunning saboteur. And the difference between the two lies in how closely you guard its doors. Most people let their thoughts run wild, like weeds in an abandoned garden. But not you. You will cultivate with intention. You will prune with purpose. Why do so many live in prison by fear and doubt? It isn't weakness. It isn't fate. It is permission. They let outside voices set up residence in their heads, uninvited and unchecked. A harsh word from a stranger, a childhood criticism, the sting of failure. These echoes continue not because